Hey guys, I'm Em, and welcome to episode 1 of Battle of the Art Supplies. Just so you know, this is a new series I am starting where I get 2 art supplies, I draw them on the same image together and I compare them, I pick which one I like best, and it can go into the next round until I find the ultimate art supply. Before we start, I just wanted to make it aware that I'm not including any sort of paint like acrylic or oil paint. I have included water paint in the series. Also, sorry if there's any background noise, I'll go and shut my door real quick just so you can't hear that as well. Right, so I am back, and to pick which 2 art supplies, I have got this pouch filled with 20 different art supplies, all folded up, so I can't see what any of them are. I have already given this a good shake, but just so you can see, here's me giving it another really good shake. So that has been shaken very well, so I will open it. And before we pick, this is the drawing we will be comparing them on today, a little rubber ducky in a bath. And this is the first one I pick, and this is the second one. I can put that pouch to the side now. Let's open this one. Watercolour pencils and metallic pencils. Ooh, Battle of the Pencils. The first contestant we are starting with is the watercolour pencils. I have got my watercolour pencils right here, if I can open them up. So these are my watercolour pencils. I love these so much. I feel like these are definitely going to win, but we'll just have to wait and see. So this half, the duck's face, is going to be done with watercolour pencils. I have got some water. Let's see if I can open it. It's probably going to be minging, because I do use this water for all my watercolour stuff, and I've been using it recently. We'll see if I can open this. There we go. Opened it up without it going everywhere, and I have got some brushes to spread out the pigment. So let's get straight into the first contestant. I'm just going to give a little commentary about the different art supplies. So let's start with the watercolour pencils, because that's what I'm using at the moment. So I really like using these. I don't like how the pencils feel not scratchy, they're not smooth as my normal coloured pencils, but I like the look of them after. I like the watercolour effect, and I like using the pencils. I feel like I can control where it goes more than normal watercolours. I'm not using normal watercolours in this, I'm just comparing it to it. I like the large colour range. The thing with normal watercolours is that you can mix them watercolour pencils. I don't know how to do that yet. I don't know if you can do that. So, but I really like the colour range. They're a nice art supply to use. But for all of my things I'm doing, I'm using the same type of paper. I'm just using, I think it's normal like art paper or something, I don't know. It's in this A3 sketchbook I've got, and I've cut it down. But I'm using the same one for all the art supplies to make it a fair test. So some of the paper did come up on this, because it's not proper watercolour paper. So that's just what happens. But like, I'm not gonna mark it down for that, because like, I can't really help that it did that, because I'm not using the proper paper for it, because it did it on this bit here when I add the water in, that's where it does it. But yeah, I really like using these. I think they are a good contender to be our winner for today's episode.
wanted to come back in and say each art supply I'm using has like a different music background. Like in each episode, each art supply will have their own music that I found from the YouTube music library. It's not my music that I created, just want to say that. But like they have their own like soundtrack, like you know when like boxers go out, they have their own soundtrack, I think. I don't know. I don't watch boxing or wrestling or anything, but like I feel like that's a thing. So yeah, I just wanted to make that clear. And I thought that'd be a fun idea. Right, I'll let you get back to listening to the music or whatever.
So contestant 1 has been finished. I will have spoke about it in the voiceover. But now we're going to start with contestant number 2, the metallic pencils. So we've got less colour variety, but it still might look good. So let's start with contestant number 2. I am trying to give them a fair test. So yeah, let's start.
So my opinions on the watercolour, metallic pencils, that's what they're called. I really like these. I don't like the colour range, they aren't very good. The yellows, none of them are really yellowy, they're a bit greeny and browny. That's something I don't like, but something I do like. I think I mentioned this in the video I reviewed them. I love the shape of these pencils. They're in the shape of a triangle, and the way I hold my colouring pencils and my art supplies compared to a normal writing pen is different, and it's more comfortable to hold it in the way I write. But if I'm doing colouring, I can't hold it that way because I don't feel like I have enough like secure grip, and I feel like I can't colour as well, like it's not as precise. Whereas with these pencils I can hold it how I'd hold a normal pen. So that's something I very much like. I love how the pencils look. I know I'm not rating it on that, but if it was based on how the pencils look, these pencils would win. I love the shine on the paper. You can't see it as well on camera when I show you, but I love it. It's just the colour range, like it's a bit naff, but these pencils glide much better than I remember them, and I think that's why I'm so happy, like, and I'm like talking about them so highly, is because I remember them being a lot worse than they actually are. Maybe it's the paper I'm using this time, but yeah, I really did enjoy using them. They're a good novelty thing, and yeah, again, they're another good contender.
Turned out. I love both sides equally. I love the shimmer on the metallic side. I think it's beautiful. I love the water effect on the watercolour side. But obviously there has to be a winner. And in one of my hands is the loser, and one of my hands there is the winner one. So the winner of episode 1 of Battle of the Art Supplies is the watercoloured pencils. I chose the watercolour pencils just because I prefer using them. This is personal preference. By the way, I'm not going on like, you might have a different option to me. I also think they look a bit better. They just look smoother in my personal preference. Obviously, it did pull up some of the paper there, but I've explained this earlier in the video, but I tried to make this as fair as I could. So I used the same type of paper. I like the effects on the tiles because I didn't use water on them because I wanted to show the pencil effect as well, and I like how the tiles look. There was more colour range with the watercolour pencils, which I guess was kind of unfair, but I did try and use the same colours and there just wasn't enough shades of green for me to do it, and the yellows weren't very yellow on the metallic pencils. But I'm still very proud of this piece of artwork. Yeah, so the watercolour pencils go through to the next round. I'm just going to fill that in with a fine liner. Sue me if it's cheating. Yeah, so the watercolour pencils go through to the next round. I will see you next episode for another Battle of the Art Supplies. I'll see you later. Goodbye.